everybody. Father Casey from the Epiphany of Our Lord Church. I am the pastor. I am the shepherd of this parish. And I want to welcome you to our YouTube channel, The Fourth Magi. Now, I make the mention of being the shepherd because that is exactly what Jesus talks about in this Sunday's Gospel, that He is the Good Shepherd. Now, we've heard that title given to Him many times. And, you know, I always was wondering when I was studying for the priesthood in the seminary, what it was like to be a shepherd. And I was finally given the opportunity because my friend in the seminary had family in Ireland. And so we went to Ireland where his uncle, perchance, happened to be a shepherd, a real-life shepherd. He had a field and sheep and everything. Man, I was so excited, I couldn't wait till we got there. And I pestered that poor man every day. Take me out, take me out, take me out. So I wanted to go work with him in the field with the sheep so that I'd finally understand what it meant to be a shepherd. So finally one day he says, all right, Casey, come along. We're going out in the field and you're coming with me. Now get your stuff, let's go. So I was being such a pain in the tuchus, he was like going to get it over with, you know. So I'm all excited and I put my stuff on and we went out to the field and I learned a very valuable lesson no sooner than 5 minutes that we got into the field. Because I didn't take any more than 5 steps and I stepped in a big, huge pile of sheep poo. And you know what I was wearing? Sneakers. Do you know what the uncle was wearing? Boots. Because he knew what it was to walk in a sheep field filled with sheep poo. They were like little dirty landmines. So I couldn't back out. Now, could I? No, I had to go with the shepherd. Come on, Casey. He keeps saying, come on, come on. And I had to keep walking. Well, you know what I had to do the next day? I had to go buy a new pair of sneakers. Because I had ruined my sneakers, because I was a Yank working in a sheep field, and they were ruined by all the sheep poo that I stepped in. Because I swear to you, every 5 feet was another pile of sheep poo. And you know what he said to me when we were done? As he looked at my sneakers and he laughed, he guffawed. Look at your shoes, Casey. Now they call them trainers here. Look at your trainers, Casey. They're filled with sheep. Beep. I won't tell you what he said, but he didn't say it in Irish, I'll tell you that. And he says, that's your first lesson, Casey. He said, if you're going to work with the sheep, you're going to step in a lot of beep poo. And that was a good lesson to learn because, yeah, if you're going to be a shepherd, you got to take the good with the bad. And as many good people as there are working in the fold, there's a lot of people leaving a lot of poo. Sometimes it's real poo. Dealing with the homeless, there's poo all over my steps sometimes. So sometimes there's an actual poo. But nonetheless, if I'm going to be a shepherd, there's going to be poo. And that's just a good lesson to learn because it's not always going to be sunshine and roses and rainbows and unicorns. That's for sure. So when Jesus says He's the good shepherd, He's willing to work with the good and the bad. He's willing to work with the poo as well. And He dealt with it. Now, He brings out a very good point in the Gospel. He says that He is the gate, the shepherd's gate. Meaning that, you know, in those days they didn't have gates with hinges and locks and everything. The shepherd would bring the sheep into the corral, and then it would be an open gate, an open area. But the shepherd would lay down in that gate. He was the gate. So the sheep were going to come trampling over him, and the wolves that were looking to eat the sheep, they weren't coming towards the shepherd either. They got a whiff of the shepherd and they hightailed it away. So as a shepherd, he first of all protected his sheep. He was there 24/7. He knew their names. He knew how they smelled. He knew his sheep. And that was very important. He says that. I know my sheep, but more important, my sheep know me. Now this is a very important message for priests, for pastors like myself, for bishops. Because if you're going to be called a shepherd, and that's the role you're given, you're being put in charge of God's flock, and even if it's a portion of it. You got to know the sheep. You may not like all the sheep, but you got to know them. You have to be a stay-at-home dad. And you know what? There are a lot of dads, a lot of priests that, you know what, they're not always home. You can't always get a hold of them. They can't be bothered. And not just priests or pastors, but there are bishops as well. There are bishops that don't have a clue who their priests are, or what's going on in their lives, or what they're going through. And a lot of priests, and there was a report put out about this, a lot of priests don't think their bishops really give a damn. And some bishops don't. And that's really the message that Jesus wants to send home, not just to the people, but to the priests, the pastors, and the bishops, and the popes. You know what? If you're going to be a shepherd, get to know your sheep. And as Pope Francis has said, you should have the smell of the sheep on you because you're so familiar with your sheep. You're so familiar with your flock. And if you don't think I'm a stay-at-home dad as a pastor, you'd be the first one to tell me, you know what, Father, you're not a stay-at-home dad. I don't see you enough. I'm not able to reach you. I never hear from you. I don't think you know who I am. If you think that about me, you let me know. And that way I know I need to do a better job. Because that's important. That's my job. I'm the shepherd. I'm a shepherd helping out in this field for a while. And so it's important to know the sheep. But now the sheep have to want to get to know the shepherd as well. And need to listen to the shepherd. Not just their pastor, not just their bishop, but the pope as well. But Jesus, the good shepherd, the true shepherd. They have to listen to what he says, and they have to follow him. Now, a lot of people, unfortunately, think that they can listen to Jesus' words and think, yeah, I can take it or leave it. I guess I could do that. That's not listening to the shepherd. That's like, okay, the shepherd says this, but the wolf over there looks pretty good what the wolf's doing over there. I'm going to go follow the wolf. He looks pretty good. Actually, I think he's got a little sheep clothing on him. You've heard that phrase, a wolf in sheep's clothing? And you go follow the wolf. Well, things aren't going to work out too well with the wolf since you ignored the good shepherd. So first of all, as sheep, we have to follow the shepherd. Hear his voice, recognize the voice, but you can't recognize the voice if you don't hear it enough. So you recognize the voice and you follow the shepherd. So maybe this week, you and I can pay attention. Pay attention to the true shepherd, Jesus, and follow him. And figure out when we're not following him and why. Why aren't we going to follow the good shepherd? If he led us in the green pastures before, he will lead us in the green pastures again. Because he's willing to lay down his life for us, as he has. Now that's a pretty good shepherd. He is a stay-at-home dad. I try to be a stay-at-home dad. I try to take care of my sheep. And I hope my sheep realize that I am there for them. God bless you, and have a good week.